The NU-AIRE lab, Nebraska University lab, is a lab that focuses on flying unmanned aerial systems or drones with sensors and for different purposes, and provides services for research and the community in general. The NU-AIRE lab got started in February of 2012 by Dr. Wayne Wold, who was a faculty professor here at the Department of Biological Systems Engineering. And he started the lab and bought the first unmanned aerial system, which was a Tempest, and started flying and doing research with cameras and sensors on the drone. As I mentioned, the Tempest was the first drone. It was a complicated system. It was a fixed-wing aircraft, and you had to launch it with a cable pulley system to get it to accelerate and go into the air, and then you had to land it after it came back in a field. Then after that, we progressed to a system called the Firefly, which would take off vertically and then fly as a plane, so that was a lot easier to manage than the Tempest. And then came the multi-rotor systems that were purchased later. First the Mavics and the small drones used for training. That was another part of the NU-AIRE lab. There was training for users to use drones in their extension activities, for example. And then came the DJI Matrice 600. That was a multi-rotor, copter system, very stable and carried a lot of payload. And that's what we've been flying for research ever since. In addition to flying sensors over irrigation fields to provide imagery, multispectral imagery and thermal infrared imagery for a model to do irrigation scheduling on pivots. So we started this with a project funded by USDA out at NREC on a variable rate irrigation system. There were several faculty involved, including myself and Dr. Derek Heron and Wayne Wold and others. After that, we've been using our model SETME to schedule irrigations using imagery from these unmanned aerial systems. So that is one of the applications. And the other application that Dr. Wold worked on was spraying, okay? Using drones to carry agrochemicals and only identify and spray the weeds individually, so only apply the chemical where needed. A lot of work in riparian zones for getting rid of invasive species and things like that. It's what we call a cost center. In other words, we can provide services to other groups in the university that need imagery that we can provide. So we've worked with many other faculty here providing services, or we can provide service off campus, like to the Department of Transportation or Nebraska Department of Environmental Quality, or even a company that might need some imagery or to fly a wetland area or something, right? We can provide those services. And if you go online, there's the fee structure through the university system, so it's all documented and the prices are right there of how much it costs. Dr. Wayne Wold, when I joined faculty here at University of Nebraska, he approached me because he knew that I had a background in remote sensing using high-resolution imagery from a system I had at Utah State. And so we wrote joint proposals to USDA and got funded for that variable rate irrigation project. And we worked together for several years, and then eventually he asked me to be associate director of the lab. and I joined as associate director, and we turned it into a cost center because that was a mode that I operated under when I had an aircraft at Utah State. And then Dr. Wold retired, and I became the director. And so I'm still involved in keeping it going.